It's me again. I don't know. It's been a while since my I had my personal journey, um, testimony. What else? Morning talk. But I felt like God is directing me and guiding me to talk. Like the thing is, I really don't know where to start. I don't know how to start where I left off. I don't know if I would like to start with my journey before going to the US, my journey in the US, my life in the US, or my life when I came back to the Philippines from the US, because it's the biggest part of history of my life. um, I'm only 34, yet I felt like God has opened this portal, this understanding, this knowledge that everything is possible, that sometimes things that is beyond our comprehension is really happening beyond our naked eye, that there's truly something that we have to open our senses to. Without further ado, I'd like to talk to you how, you know, what was my life when I came back in the Philippines. I'll start there. So, I came back to the Philippines. I know I said this already. I can't remember how many times I keep recording this and saying this over and over again. Like, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I felt like sometimes you have to navigate backward to move forward. And most of this testimony and then personal journey and testimony that I will be recording is mostly backward because we need to have a point of reference of the today in order for us to completely understand the full picture of the future. But anyway, so I came home the 25th of December. It was Christmas Day, and I'm very thankful to God that I came on time on Christmas. That we may not have like this big party, big celebration, but at least I saw my son on Christmas Day. He was there. I was there waiting for me at the airport, and then traveling home, holding his hand. It's like, the best gift that I've ever received in my entire life, spending my Christmas with Nathan. And then, so that was December 25th, 2024, and that was also the same day that my niece is celebrating her birthday. So it's Julia's birthday, my niece, my brother's daughter, Julius. So that was that. And then I was supposed to stay in the Philippines for 3 to 4 weeks. I had my flight already scheduled and booked to go back to the US after New Year. Was it after New Year? Yes, it was after. Yes, it was after New Year because I arrived 25th, and then I spent New Year and then another week or two. I was supposed to go back to the US like third week of January. I have to double check my itinerary, but that was the original flight schedule. So the leg would have been, from Naiya to Korea, then Korea to Minnesota. I can remember if there's another leg somewhere in the US, but that's about it. I failed to take the flight. I had to reschedule it because it was during the time, December. It's a rainy season here in the Philippines. It was raining. The weather isn't that sunny and everything. You know how it is here in the Philippines during December to January and until February. That was the time that you get rains and everything. But it wasn't that bad as it was before, that you get to experience typhoon. Roof are flying all over the place. Here it's different. And then so with that said, I'm trying to remember each and every bit of it, because it's just sometimes way too hard to remember. It's like sometimes I have to shake myself and I said, wait, am I dreaming? Is this reality? Is this a fantasy? But I know for sure it is. So that's that. As far as my family goes, we were, we had our normal family banding. It wasn't that crazy that we had to have like a big celebration or everything. But we make sure that we were together during the special day, especially New Year. We stayed up late at night. I had the bowl with the gold chocolate coins, and then rice, and then round fruits and everything. I used to do that when I was in Florida. Like every year I would have this tradition that I would have this round fruits on the table with rice bowl. It's like it's you it's you anticipating for good fortune, prosperity. Rice symbolizes good harvest. Fruits like rounds, for luck and prosperity. I don't know, I've gotten used to doing that even before I went to the US. I think it's my mom who initiated that tradition. It's something that is very known here in the Philippines. So we had that on New Year's Eve. So we had that tradition on the table, the round fruits, the rice bowl, and we also have I think pancit or whatever. And then my father was there, and then Peter, and then my mom, and then Nathan didn't really stay up. I mean, he was up during New Year's Eve, but we didn't really do a lot of crazy stuff the way we used to do, like big celebration and everything when I was a kid. It's something that I always remember before, that during New Year is something really significant. I hate to say this, that is something more relevant than Christmas, but for me now, I'd rather have the Christmas to be celebrated and be appreciated more. I don't know, maybe because we are all this, maybe because I felt like, maybe because we have this longing that it's the start of the year, it's a fresh start, it's a new chapter, it's a new page, like out with the old, in with the new, kind of thing. New Year's resolution, luck. It's always, sometimes it's good to condition our mind to have something to look forward to, don't we? Right? I think that's the mentality that sometimes we have, that sometimes Christmas are being taken for granted because we're too far ahead looking forward to the next week coming up because of the New Year. Although although for us here, I take Christmas as a big deal. The nostalgic feeling of opening gifts from your ninong and ninang, the sobre with money that they will give you. What else? The handa after the mass, Noche Buena, Misa de Gallo, and everything. Those feeling of remembering, recollection, and everything. And then so that was that. Going back to what I was saying, I'm sorry, I got off track with storytelling, because there's a lot of things to talk about. But anyway, so long story short, I wasn't able to go back on time because Nathan was under the weather. He was sneezing, sore throat, and everything. And also similar with the kids from our neighbor, they were having some flus and everything, because it's flu season at that time. And I was like, okay. And I also felt it. I felt that with me, that I got I had flu. And then for a long time, since forever, I had I felt the flu here in the Philippines. I mean, not that I didn't had a flu in the US. I'm very thankful to God that, I'm thankful to God that I'm never experienced having COVID virus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Father God in heaven. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But anyway, so that's that. It feels good that, yeah, being surrounded with family, that you can lay down in bed all day or all night or even for a week, and then your family will take care of you, right? But it didn't happen that way. I just had like maybe a day or two that I was feverish with, with a change of season, change of climate and and everything, climate or whatever. So that was that. And then, because at the time, I don't have anything to go back to yet. I don't have a job at that time because I had my the most recent company that I work with. I we ended our relationship before I came home to the Philippines. So with that said, um, with that said, the next thing that happened is just way too bizarre for me. Like January, I keep rescheduling my flight. I was like, no, I won't be able to go back to my original flight yet. I had to reschedule it, because I have to make sure that before I go back to the US, I have a job waiting for me. I have a guaranteed start date of a new company that I will be working with. So I had to do some interviews at home. I submitted some resume. I submitted application to different financial companies, because even though I parted we ended our relationship with Huntington. I did not give up with my aspiration to work in financial industry. I was like, this is still what I wanted to do. I've never changed my mind. I still want to work at the bank and move forward where I left off. So I did submit a lot of applications, different banks. I submitted an application at US Bank. Where else? Where else? I think Wells Fargo as well, and then through Stone. With US Bank, I had scheduled interviews, and it's more of like for fraud. I have to work for like fraud department, escalations and all that kind of stuff, like working at the bank and then hybrid setup kind of stuff. We really didn't get to the point where we're going to agree the start date and offer letter and everything. But I did have an interview with True Stone, and I had an interview with the district manager and the branch manager from Minneapolis. I forgot her name, but anyway, they offered me the position at True Stone, to be their banker. So the position, I accepted it. I had the background check request submitted and everything. And then they requested to have what else? Background check, drug testing, and I was like, I won't be able to get there on time to do my drug testing. I'll just do the drug testing here in the Philippines. So I asked the HR department / recruiter. I told them that I need to do my drug testing here instead, because I don't think I'd be able to get there on time. And I said okay. And then I went to Sorsogon. There's a clinic there upstairs, somewhere in San Fernando Mall at Sorsogon. I asked the lady there, I was like, do you have this 9 or 10 strand blah 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 drug testing kind of stuff, because I need it for my employer. And they said, no, we don't have that here, we only have 3 or 4, something like that. I was like, okay. The lady doesn't sound very receptive of what I was saying. She was like, I mean, she was answering my question, but she doesn't seem like she's very receptive of what I was asking her. I feel like she could just say, no, we don't, maybe you can go and ask to go here or there and everything. So it was very disappointing that, you know, they don't, I mean, yeah, we don't have the service, but you could have at least guided me where I'm going to, where I should head to. But anyway, that was that. Enough said. So long story short, I told the recruiters that no, I won't be able to get it here because it's not available here. I can get that somewhere, somewhere in Manila, but it will, you know, it will cost me money to fly from our province to Manila. And then so they schedule another appointment. So appointment has been scheduled again, with another clinic, you know. So appointment has been scheduled again, and then I was like, I have to be there to get that done, and then after that I have to sorry, there's a lot of it. And then after that I have to start immediately. I was like, oh my god, that was a lot of, you know, a lot of moving here and there. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get there on time, but oh well, we keep getting it rescheduled and postponed. I was like, I'm so grateful that these people is at least working with me. I'm sorry, there's just a lot of noises here all over me, around me. But anyway, I wasn't able to go back on time because, you know, it's a lot of things that happen, and then my mind is all over the place. You know, I want to get there on time, take care of the requirement, do the orientation, do my start date, and then work at True Stone, you know, sa Bankers. Another opportunity for me to pursue what my heart desire was. My heart desire was to, you know, to lead in banking industry, to, you know, to reach out to more people, to be community banker, to meet different businesses, different people, and everything. So yeah, I know, it's a missed opportunity. Looking back at it, I was like thinking to myself, what would have happened if I get there on time? I probably, you know, have my busy life in Minnesota. My Friday night, maybe I'm at the prayer intercession now at our pastor's house, and then during weekdays I'm traveling all over the place. That was my dream. And now reaching out to lots of people, building, you know, relationship with the community, you know, you know, making an impact, empowerment, be an influencer, speak up, and then extend my service to others. That has always been the joy of my heart. And it's not about competing, who has the highest number of sales. What really made me happy at the time when I was working there is, you know, talking to people, learning about their lives, and being part of their plans. You know, that I may not be part of their daily life, but having the thoughts that, hey, I was part of this big event of your life. You know, I'm very thankful for this opportunity. That was something that I've never taken for granted. That every day when I wake up in the morning, I have this energy to go to work because I am motivated, I am inspired. I have this, you know, this what do you call this hope that I have something to look forward to, that this is the start of something big for me and my family. That originally, me staying there, and then Nathan will follow me, and then my parents will follow me. We'll live in the US, all of us. But things change. I don't know. When I came here in the Philippines, I never had any intention of staying here for this long period of time. I'm only supposed to be here for a month, but 9 months later, here I am again, which I never regretted, because of this I was able to see different faces, different walks of life that I've never seen before, different experiences. Being with my son, of course, is the most important thing, and then being with my family. Sometimes my family, I don't get them, but oh well. That's part of my my structure. That's how I was built, that I was surrounded with this different personalities, different cultures, different point of view, different opinion that makes me who I am right now. But anyway, what really was the reason why I failed to go back on time? Lots and lots of things. First of all, most importantly, the main reason is Nathan, my son. The reason is because, Nathan isn't the kind of kid that you need to put your 24/7 supervision. He's not that kind of kid, but I am more concerned of the daily life that he has here in the Philippines. I want to know what he was like in school, how he is behaving in school, how he is behaving inside the house, his social skills, the way that he communicates, what time he's eating, what time he's getting up in the morning, how he talks to my parents, to my brothers. I just want to make sure that my son is okay, because my ultimate goal is to bring him there in the US. And then something really weird happened. That I was like thinking to myself, what is going on? This is really weird. This is super strange. I was like, this is not right. This seemed very familiar to me. I was like, how did it start? Oh, okay. I think it started January, or somewhere like maybe first week of February. I don't know, I can't remember. I think first week, no, at the end of January, first week of February, that I've noticed something strange. I've noticed something strange already when I arrive at the airport in Manila. Up to I get to to Legazpi Airport, and then to our house. But spending time with my family seems normal to me. Like, they respected that I need rest, that I didn't come home to the Philippines to have a big party or whatever. I just want to come home to rest, spend time with Nathan, spend time with my family, and then go back again to work. That was it. Very short and sweet, very simple. I wasn't expecting anything big or whatever kind of stuff. I just wanted to rest. I want to rest, clear my mind, start fresh, start a new journey, live a happy life, and then be successful at everything that I do. With God is my guiding light. So that was about that. I was restless with looking for employers, different position at the time, mostly focusing on financial industry. And then as far as talking about what's strange that happened to me before, I don't know. So at that time, I was laying in bed, and then I was scrolling on my phone. Scrolling on my phone. At the time stamp of 5/4/54, my sister-in-law came outside the bedroom, and then she said this word. She said, "Ito talagang matinding kalaban." Tapos kumakanta pa siya, and then she was saying, napakasakit Kuya Eddie. Sabi ko, anong problema nitong ano ko? Anong problema nitong sister-in-law ko? You know, at the time of 5-4, she said, ito talaga ang matinding kalaban. Sabi ko, I know we were playing time stamp game there. You know, they used to have different time, but I always associate the time with Bible verses, with special event and everything. And how can I forget the 5-4? 5-4 is, it was the date where I think it was my grandmother, Lola Rosa's birthday, or the day that I think that was Lola Rosa's birthday. My aunt's mom, Lola Rosa's birthday, May 4th, and then, you know, May the 4th be with you. And of course, significant event is also 54, which is my husband's anniversary date with, you know, her parents, with his parents rather, John D. John and then Doris. They were, I don't know if they got married 1954. I don't know if they were, I can't remember, but it was 1950 or something like that. So that was the you know, special event. And you know, in my life that I remember. And then I was like, what is going on, you know? Why is my sister-in-law saying that ito ang matindi mong kalaban? Sinong kalaban ko? Yung dati kong asawa, yung lola ko na namatay dati. Ano bang pinaglalaban nito? Bakit niya nasabi yun? I mean, she was talking to the air. She wasn't talking to me directly, but I hear it, I listen to it, and I was like, medyo nagduda na talaga ako. Medyo sabi ko sa sarili ko, something suspicious going on here. From the time that I left Minnesota, sa airplane pa lang until I get to the airport, something weird is going on sa bahay namin nagsimula. Tapos sabi ko, wala, hindi lang ako kumibo. Sabi ko, nag-pay attention lang ako. I paid attention, and then at the same time, iba na talaga yung nararamdaman ko sa katawan ko. I feel so many different things in my body. Parang alam mo yun, sorry. You know, I felt so many different things in my body, like, alam mo yun, hindi ko alam kung, I don't know if it's an allergic reaction to the water that I'm drinking or to the food that I'm eating, but there's something weird that happened in my body. Even the water that I was drinking is making me palpitate. You know, I had a certain allergy to different food, to different things. That's why I'm very careful with what I eat. Hindi ko talaga maintindihan. Basta something different. Tapos alam mo yon, my mom, I told my mom that, you know, I told my parents that I won't be able to go back immediately. Hindi pa ako makakauwi kasi nga, to be honest, nag-observe talaga ako. I was observing, ino-observe ko kung ano ba talaga yung nangyayari. Sabi ko, alam mo yon, sabi ko, this is weird. I felt like everywhere I go, parang palagi na lang may ganito. Alam mo yun, parang palagi na lang, there's always something going on, you know. Hindi ko talaga siya mag-gets, but I'm observing, I'm paying attention, I'm listening, and then my mom, dun ako talaga na-shock. When my mom was doing some gestures, like hand gestures, you know, like, hold on, let me put my camera here. I don't know if I can put it here. I'm going to show you. So, with my mom, she was doing this thing. She was doing this thing, and then this, and then I was like, wait a minute. I remember who was doing that before. It was my workmate. It was Madison doing that. It's like, how did you learn about all those you know, body gestures and everything? That was super weird. And then medyo nag-isip ako, medyo nagdududa ako sa sarili ko na sabi ko, did they send some sort of instruction that when I left the US, something followed me? Maybe I was followed. I don't know if it was Huntington, my workplace, who followed me. But why? I mean, bakit mo ako susundan? Ano meron? Diba? I felt like I was followed by my employer, Huntington National Bank. Maybe I was just too attached with working there, but I felt like those things that we've done at the bank. I was working as a banker, and I have workmate. We have our day-to-day activity at the bank. I felt like everything that we have there originally, it was transferred, it was sent here to the Philippines. Like the words that we say, madaming mga salita na from there na transfer dito. So this is not original here in the Philippines. All those words that we have is in the US. They copied us. All the things that we've done there, it was copied here. Everything has been copied. Parang kinopya lahat, yung mga gestures, the way we talk, lahat copy. It's like everything has been copied. Pati pananalita ko, the way I move, the way I talk, mga words na naririnig ko everywhere, it was being repeatedly said to me. It was crazy. Nakakaloka. Sabi ko, ano to? I was like, I wasn't afraid for myself. Hindi ako natakot para sa sarili ko. I was scared for my son, for Nathan, and the children there. Kasi hindi ko ba alam kung I was overly conservative when I got home. Kasi, during the Christmas presentation ng mga bata, they were dancing. Something which is normal here now, but at the time I wasn't very open-minded about those kind of dance kasi nga most of the time there I was like listening to gospel song, worship music. So maybe nanibago talaga ako nung pagdating ko na hindi ako masyadong open-minded sa mga ganitong songs, especially watching kids dance. Tapos yung mga kapitbahay pa namin, yung mga bata doon, they were dancing to the loud music and everything. Sabi ko, alam mo yon, during that time, hindi pa ako masyadong open-minded. Sabi ko, bakit ganito yung mga bata? Bakit hindi sila, alam mo yon, they are not learning gospel song, worship music and everything. But anyway, na-shock lang ako kasi even kids, they were saying words that madaming mga salita na mga bata na parang tinuturuan sila. Alam mo yon, dun ako talaga nag-worry. That's when I started worrying and panicking that, oh my God, this is not right. All the things that the children are saying is either they got it from the place that I work with. Lahat ito ng mga sinasabi dito, galing ito sa Minnesota. It was sent here. Parang may sumunod sa akin. Tapos lahat ng mga salita na we were talking there, it was sent here in the Philippines. Hand gestures, touching your nose, touching your face, bro, whatever, not secure, beautiful, what else? White trash, that's those kind of words. Like it followed me. I felt like whatever I'm seeing, they are seeing. Whatever I'm looking at, they are looking at. Whatever I'm doing, they are copying it. Alam mo yon, which I don't have problem with. I just don't know why. I wasn't overthinking it. In fact, I've gotten used to it there, that I've been hearing things, but I didn't realize that. I didn't know that it was aimed to me. I felt like, maybe they were just saying it because working at the bank, at the retail, working at the bank, you get to see different people. Every day you meet different people, you hear different words. So I was like, they're saying things, I don't think it's for me. Maybe they were just talking to one another at narinig ko lang yon, at parang it's like a recording that whatever the words that I'm listening to is being recorded and it's sticking. Alam mo yon, like for example, a words being said at then nag-stand out siya and then it will be repeatedly said to me. I was like, wow, kawawa yung mga bata. I mean, I am mature enough. I experienced it 7 years in the US. 7 taon ko na tong na-experience sa US. So I'm not new to this, but how about the children? Hindi na ito pwede sa mga bata. parang why suddenly parang na-open ang mga bata sa ganitong mga words. It's like we're passing the words from the US here to the Philippines. Like, this is not right. You know? So, and I felt like, you know, so ayan, I complain. I keep making phone calls. I keep making phone calls to, you know, I keep making phone calls to the to my friend in the US. I was like, this is not right, because they knew. We knew. We don't have to verbalize it, but we have a mutual understanding that we know what's going on. I don't have to say it at loud, but we knew. We knew exactly what's going on, and it's something that I will not share because it's private. That is just between me and who knows. Yan. And then, you know, and then they were saying that it was Sam who leaked it, who leaked those words. They were saying that they were saying that it was Sam, but I don't think it was just Sam, because even before when I was in Florida, I have been noticing a lot already. Like for example, you know, I like online shopping. I like browsing on Amazon, different online shops, Macy's and everything. I like listening to songs. And then, so I was still in Florida you know. I haven't met the people in Minnesota yet. It was, you know, I can't remember what year was it, but I've noticed, like, the things that I shop online, like, let's say for example clothes, out of the blue I would see other people wear the things that I'm shopping online. It's like they're copying, you know. It's like, you know, the style and everything, the nail polish, perfume. I was like, how do they know, you know, the nail polish that I have? It's like whatever nail polish I was wearing, out of the blue, it's either the people that I work with is wearing the same style of the nail polish that I have. It's like, wow, was I that great influencer to influence my you know, my taste in, you know, styling myself? And then even the music that I was listening to, there's a music that I was listening to. It's with Ava Max, you know. She's the one who sang, you know, I forgot what was the title of the song. Ava Max, she sang the song Sweet, I'm Sweet but a Psycho, something like that. Sweet but a Psycho. And then that was the music, Ava Max. And then suddenly I saw my cousin. She was posting it on her social media. I was like, my goodness, that is the music that I keep playing on repeat. And then another thing that I've noticed, another thing that I remember, I have this vanity mirror. There's a vanity mirror that I wanted to buy for myself. It's like, you know, it's a vanity mirror where it has bulb, it has makeup, you know, makeup tools, what else? Place that you can put your makeup. It's like an organizer, you know, vanity mirror. You know what vanity mirror is. I was shopping for it. And then the next thing that I see, my cousin posted the same design of what I was looking for online. I was like, what? How did you know that that is what I'm looking for? How did you know that that is the style that I want? That is, you know, that's the vanity mirror that I want. And then I was like, maybe we just have the same style. Maybe we just have the similarity when it comes to my taste. You know, taste in fashion, taste in design, taste in everything, right? And then another thing that happened that, you know, that I can't put into words. There's a perfume. There's a perfume that I love very much. There's a perfume that holds a very significant event in my life. It's the Chanel Chance. It's the pink Chanel Chance perfume. The next thing I knew, my cousin have the same perfume that I have. I was like, wait a minute, are they looking at my shopping list? Are they looking at my cart? You know, are they looking at the things that I was ordering online? I was like, this is weird. It's like everything that I was doing is being copied. Like I was being 10-4. I was being copied. I was, you know, this is where it's like, and at that time my husband was telling me that you're a trendsetter. My husband told me at that time, he was my ex-husband now. So my ex-husband told me, you are a trendsetter. You set the trend. It's like, what? How could I do that? I'm not a star. Oh well. So that was that. I just find it so unusual that everything that I have, everyone is copying it. Even another thing that I've noticed, I have a mascara. I have an eye mascara. I know it sounds very petty, but I just want to share this with you. I have a mascara. It's Maybelline mascara. It's the Sky High. I have the Sky High mascara. In fact, I'm using it right now. Sky High mascara. It's in pink, gold pink container. I love it because it's a waterproof and everything. Oh my God! When I got here in the Philippines, they have the same. What do you call this? They have the same mascara with the same brand that I'm very loyal to, because when it comes to my mascara, I'm very loyal to it. Like I don't use any other mascara aside from Maybelline Sky High mascara. That is the only mascara that I'm using because it's waterproof. I'm not trying to advertise or anything. I'm just telling you a story. So when I came home here, I've seen this similar brand. I mean, they have originals at Watson and everything, but I went to another store and they have the same copy of it. It's very, you know, in a very cheaper price. I tried it, but it's not sticking as much. But I mean, it's doing the same job. It's, you know, but I was just like, why is everything that I'm using is being copied, you know, from my mascara, my lipstick, my perfume, my clothes, my vanity mirror. I was like, what is going on? You know, how do they know that this is my brand? Like, you know, what would you feel? And I was like, maybe we truly just have the same taste, you know? We have the same similarity. But it was the Chanel Chance that really made me thinking. I was like, something's off. Something's going on. You know? And it happened like way back in Florida. It didn't just happen. It didn't just happen in Minnesota. So I don't think it's, you know, I really don't think it was her. Maybe she had a little bit contribution to whatever she was doing, but I think it started way back when, you know, before I met them. I don't know how it started. I really don't. But you know, having that feeling that you are a star but you're not a star, that you feel like you are, you know, you are being looked at but you're not. You know what I mean? Like people are looking at you, that why are you looking at me? You know, I don't want to look like I am a hypocrite, but it's like making me feel uncomfortable already, to the point that sometimes you question your sanity. Like, am I normal? Or, you know I am. I mean, I don't question that at all, but to the fact, it's like mind game that you're doing, you know. The thing that really bothers me is like, how did it get there from here? Paano tayo dito nagkameron ng copy from there? Paano nagkakaroon ng copy doon sa ginagawa ko dito? Paano nila nalalaman? Can they see what I'm doing? Can they see my screen? Paano yung ano ko, shopping cart ko, yung mga in-order ko? Napakasimple lang, it's very simple. Those are the things that I need answer from because, you know, I mean, it's like what about those things that I'm writing for myself? It's plagiarism. What if I have an intellectual property that I'm writing? You know, it's stealing my property. You know, it's like being, you know, alam mo yung feeling mong ninakawan ka ng intellectual property. What if you are writing something creative? What if you're doing something unique? You know, what if you have this original idea and it's being taken away from you? You know what I mean? I mean, it is my desire to influence. It is my desire to make an impact. But at least give me that courtesy and decency and let me know, you know. But anyway, I wanna put a period to it. But those are just the observations that I have. Like, it didn't just happen now. It didn't just happen 2 years ago. It didn't just happen 3 years ago. It happened more than that. Matagal na to. It was way back when. Nasa Florida pa lang ako. I'm going to talk to you separately about my journey in Florida and everything because I think that's how it started. I don't know. I'm just telling you the story. And really, what bothers me is when my sister-in-law told me, ito talagang matindi mong kalaban. I mean, she is not talking to anyone in particular. She just said, ito ang matindi mong kalaban. Sabi ko, sa isip-isip ko, sinong kalaban ko? I don't have any enemies. I'm a very friendly person. I don't fight with anyone. Whenever, I'm very competitive. I'm very competitive at work, but wala akong kaaway. Wala akong sinasagasaan. I always fight for my right, but wala akong kaaway. Even with my ex-husband, we're still friends, you know. I mean, we're not super friends, but we communicate and we're okay, you know. So yun na nga. So parang nairita talaga ako. Sabi ko, ba't hindi mo turuan ang anak mo ng academics? Why don't you teach your daughter to learn about, you know, your daughter is so behind with lesson and everything. Tapos kung ano-anong mga games ang nagkakaisipan ng mga ano-ano, naluloka ako. Tapos yung nakapagtataka talaga, the one that really bothers me is when my mom, you know, the way that she act, like she was looking at herself in the mirror, and then my mom was looking at herself in the mirror. And then I'm looking at her. I was paying attention. I was observing my mom. She was looking at herself in the mirror. She looked so confident. She looked so confident in front of the mirror, like she's doing a commercial of the product that she's using. I was like, oh, wow. I mean, I'm glad that she's very confident, but that's how I was, you know. That's how I was. Like I dance like nobody's watching. You know, I smile all the time. Like I always have this positive spirit. You know, I was like, paano nangyari ito? How did it start? Ano ba? Nakakaloka minsan, but anyway, ito talaga yung reality. You know, believe it or not. You know, let's title it Believe It or Not. Ayan. Alam mo yon, even now, I felt like the conversation that I have from our barangay is being spread all over the place. Like, you know, we are the starting point of the word. I am the one speaking, and then my words are all over the place, you know. And while I am being hidden, my name, they can't even say my name here. You know, they're using my ear to, you know, to call different names para mapansin sila, para marinig ang pangalan nila. That's so pathetic. You know, if you want to be here, just tell me and I will record a video of you and me, and then I'll show you on the camera. If you want it to be seen, if you want to be heard, just let me know. Mag-picture tayo. Let's take a video, and you know, case closed. You don't have to do that. You know, you don't have to do that thing. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just want to record this because I just want to record this video because I promised myself that I'm gonna have my personal journey. I'm gonna have my testimony and this, you know, this life of mine that very exciting, to say the least. Anyway, I gotta keep moving because I have some important stuff to take care of today. But that is the story. I have another part 2, part 3 until whatever. But anyway, Okay, well, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Know that you are unique, that you are you, that you are original, that you don't have a copycat, that God created you the way you are. You are who God said you are. You are a masterpiece. Ayan. Okay. Well, have a beautiful day, guys, and happy Friday. Love you all. Bye.